So we will continue our discussion on history. If you remember, we have discussed up to INA trial. Okay, so we were in the last phase of our discussion, that is from 1937 to 1947. So in this, we have started off with 1937 election, which was held on the basis of 1935 Government of India Act. And we have discussed about the election and the 28 months of Congress rule we have discussed. And we have also talked about the major achievements and the criticisms that the Congress faced during this 28 months of Congress rule. And then we have started addressing a question, that is, discuss the impact of World War II on the Indian freedom struggle. And I have told you all those events which are actually going to happen from 1939 to 1946, all are connected to World War II, and a lot of events are there during this time that led to freedom or partition during 1947. Okay, so right from August offer to Cripps mission to Wavell plan to Cabinet mission plan to Mountbatten plan and INA trial, RIN Mutiny, all are connected to World War II. And I've told you that we were talked about World War II, that is from 1939 to 1945. Two major powers, Axis powers and Allied powers. And in the first phase, it is actually Axis powers who were emerging victorious. And in the first 9 months itself, that Germany was able to capture France, Belgium and Holland. And now the British government actually understood that this war is not going to be a short-term affair. It will be a long-term war, and you definitely need the support of Indians and the Congress. And they started negotiating with the Congress. Now, if you remember before, in 1939, when the war began, in the Varda session of Congress, the Congress Working Committee actually passed a resolution with respect to Indian troops' involvement in World War II. And in that resolution, that Congress Working Committee actually supported the Indian troops' involvement in World War II, subject to two conditions. The conditions were there should be immediate, substantial devolution of power even before the Indian troops are getting involved in the war. So if you see here, there is a difference from the approach in World War I and in World War II. In World War I also, the Congress decided to support the Indian troops' involvement in World War I, but with the expectation that the British government will repay it back in terms of further devolution of power once the war gets over. And that actually happened under 1919 Government of India Act, but Congress was not satisfied. But here, they are not ready to wait till the war gets over. They are talking about even before the Indian troops are getting involved in the war, there should be immediate substantial devolution of power. And the second point was related to a constituent assembly, that a constituent assembly should be set up once the war gets over, and it was to transfer the power to the Indians. But actually the British government rejected this during 1939 when this resolution was passed. But in the first 9 months that I've told you that the Allied powers started facing major setbacks, they have come up with the August offer in 1940, right? So you can see here war started. At that time, this resolution was not accepted. But 9 months when Germany captured France, Belgium and Holland. Now, see, when France was captured by Germany, the French colonies in Asia actually came under the control of Japan, like Indochina region, that Laos, Cambodia region, all these are actually under the control of Japan. So the British government came up with August offer. And in August offer, we have discussed about, the first point was dominion status, which was offered by the British government, and in fact it was a demand of Congress from 1905 onwards, but only till 1928. The last time dominion status was demanded by the Congress was in Nehru report, which was in 1928, and in 1929 Lahore session of Congress under the presidency of Jawaharlal Nehru, we passed a resolution for Purna Swaraj, and 1930 Jan 26 was celebrated as Independence Day. And from there onwards, we are only talking about complete independence, and there is no question of dominion status now. But the significance of this August offer is this: for the first time ever, that the British government is offering a dominion status. Okay, and because of this only, it was actually rejected by Congress, because dominion status was no more the demand of the Congress. And secondly, the Constituent Assembly, which was actually demanded in the Varda resolution, they have come up with a Constituent Assembly that will be set up immediately after the war, and it will comprise mainly of Indians. And you have to remember this word, mainly. So majority will be Indians in the Constituent Assembly. Next, when we talk about Cripps Mission, I'll tell you. In that also we will talk about a Constituent Assembly, but it will be solely of Indians. That means only of Indians. That is actually the difference between August Offer and Cripps Mission. In both you will see Constituent Assembly. Here it is mainly of Indians. There it will be solely or only of Indians. Okay. And the August Offer was rejected by Congress. So, and then individual satyagraha started. We have discussed all this in detail. Then 1942 time, British, again they started facing severe setbacks. The Axis powers were emerging victorious during this time. So Japan almost reached eastern part of India. They captured, Korea, and they have captured eastern part of China, and they have entered Burma, and they are fighting against English, and British forces withdrew from there. They started facing major setbacks over there. So they are in need of, Congress support, because there was a Japanese invasion of India was seen imminent at that point of time, because Japan was fighting along with INA army against the English. And I've told you the only one war which was fought during World War II in the Indian soil was this, that is Battle of Kohima. Okay, so Battle of Kohima was the only one war which was fought in the Indian soil during World War II. So British government now are so desperate to get the support of Indians, so they came up with Cripps Mission under Stafford Cripps, and in that also the first point was related to Dominion status. So the first point was same as that of August Offer. Second one was related to Constituent Assembly, which was also there in the August Offer, but there it was mainly of Indians, here it is only of Indians. So these two are same, there is no difference. And the third one was, if any of the province does not want to join the Indian Union, they can form a union of their own. That means there is a right to secession. And Jawaharlal Nehru argued that this will lead to balkanization of the country, and it was actually rejected because of these two reasons, that is Dominion status and the provision of right to secession. And the rejection of Cripps Mission led to Quit India movement, and it was the biggest mass movement ever witnessed so far. And mass participation, women participation was so high, and boycotts of foreign goods, liquor shops picketed. August 8, 1942, the movement started from Bombay. Gandhi was declared as the leader, gave a call for do or die. August 9 itself, all the important leaders, the main top leaders of Congress were arrested, and the responsibility of leading this movement was left out to the second class or the middle class leadership. That is like the people who led the movement were Aruna Asaf Ali, Usha Mehta, etc. All those things we have discussed in detail. And then we have discussed about, now parallel to this, INA, that fight was actually going on. So INA was formed by Mohan Singh with the 15,000 army members who were left out in Burma once the British force were withdrawn from Burma. The Japanese army captured this force, and with the support of Mohan Singh, they formed INA. And the Mohan Singh actually promised Japan that the INA will actually help to overthrow British from India. And then they reached eastern part of India, and they start fighting against English. And I've told you the Battle of Kohima was fought. And later, when US entered the war, when the the Japanese forces started facing severe reverses, they have withdrawn, and Indian forces were left out over there, and they were captured by the English, and they were put on trial publicly. The initial trial, which was held in Red Fort, three members from INA were actually put on trial because British, they wanted to send a message to the military that no such kind of indiscipline will be tolerated. So in the trial which was held at Red Fort, they have taken Guru Bakshak Singh Dhillon, Shah Nawaz Khan and Prem Sehgal. So Guru Bakshak Singh was a Sikh, Shah Nawaz Khan was a Muslim, Prem Sehgal was a Hindu, and Congress actually took this as an opportunity to rally the nationalist cause, and they have tried to mobilize the masses by mobilizing the sentiments of masses based on this INA trial. And the Congress leaders like Motilal Nehru, Jawaharlal Nehru and Tej Bahadur Sapru, etc., they fought the case of this INA trial victims. And November 5 to 11, 1945 was actually celebrated as INA week by Congress, and they started mobilizing funds for the families of this INA trial subjects. And November 12, 1945 was celebrated as INA Day, and it had a huge impact on the minds of the people that led to mobilization of masses, emergence of nationalist consciousness and all those things. And this has actually motivated, the RIN Mutiny. And today we are actually going to talk about RIN Mutiny that got inspiration from INA and INA trial, and the support that the INA trial victims got from Congress as well as from the masses. And INA as well as RIN Mutiny actually shook the basic foundation of the British government, because they now realized that they started losing control over their army and navy, and they have realized that the British rule in India is going to come to an end. Their time in India is actually limited, because navy and army is now came under the nationalist upsurge or the nationalist sentiment. So it is very difficult for the British government now to control the army. So in that context, RIN Mutiny is very significant, and because of that only cabinet mission plan was sent. Okay, so here now we are going to talk about RIN Mutiny. Okay, so RIN Mutiny. Okay, so it was actually started from the naval ratings which was stationed at Bombay. The British Indian Navy soldiers who were stationed at Bombay, they started the revolt, and they unfurled the Indian flag in the ship HMIS Talwar. They also curved Quit India movement on HMIS Talwar. They started strike. They struck their work, and they started attacking the British soldiers superiors in the ship in the Bombay port also. And soon this movement or the strike was spread across the ports in Karachi, Visakhapatnam, etc. Okay, now if you look into the reasons of this RIN Mutiny, so this is how RIN Mutiny started at Bombay in the HMIS Talwar ship, and they started attacking the seniors, and soon it was spread to Karachi, Visakhapatnam, etc. Okay, so the reasons, if you see, mainly, obviously any revolt in army or navy, the reasons will be some discontentments or dissatisfaction with the superiors, and then dissatisfaction with the pay, promotions, salaries, allowances, the quality of food, the humiliation. All these are common problems in any revolt. So here also that is there. Secondly, I won't put that as a primary reason. The primary reason is actually the INA, and INA's the support that the INA trial subjects got from the Congress as well as the public. And one of the other reasons is actually these people are also influenced by nationalist upsurge or nationalist sentiments, and they started involving for the nationalist cause, and they also had a sympathy over the Congress position at this point of time. So these are the reasons. And if you look into the significance of RIN Mutiny, what is the significance? British understood that their days in India are very limited, because it shook the basic foundation of the British rule in India. They understood that they are losing the control over their army and their navy. So without having any control over their army or navy, it is very difficult to rule any area. Okay, so immediately they came up with a cabinet mission plan for speedy devolution of power at an early date. So if you look into the reasons for cabinet mission plan, it is not because of pressure from Congress for anything that we have discussed so far. If you look into August offer, do you think it is because of pressure from Congress? No. If it was pressure from Congress, 1939, when Varda resolution was passed, then itself it would have been done, right? But that never happened. British ignored at that time. But in the first 9 months, when they started facing defeats, when Germany captured France, Belgium and Holland, they understood that they need the support of Indians. So they came up with August offer, not because of pressure from Congress. Again in 1942, when Japanese forces reached Burma and British forces were forced to withdraw from Burma, and a Japanese invasion of India seemed imminent at that time, again they are so desperate to get the Congress support, so they came up with Cripps mission. It is not under the pressure of Congress. Again, Wavell plan also, if you remember, I have told you it is under the pressure of US. Okay, although Germans surrendered by 1945, but Japan was still alive in the war, so US actually pressurized or forced the British for a negotiation with the Indians. So they came up with Wavell plan. So whatever happened so far, it was not because of the pressure of Congress, whether it is August offer or Cripps mission or Wavell plan. See, but obviously I'm just putting my perspective. The people will have different opinions, but these are my perspectives. So if you wish to, you can take it, but these are objective. Okay, this is actually the reality, but whatever way you want to write, you can put it in that way in paper. It doesn't matter, but it has to be very objective. I'm talking from an objective point of view. If you take August offer, I've told you the situation and the context. If you take Cripps mission, I've again told you the context, Wavell plan also, and here cabinet mission also. It is not because of the pressure of Congress, it is because of INA and RIN Mutiny. The British realized that they are losing the control over their army. Then what is the Congress position here? The Congress and Gandhi is actually, against army members are coming and taking part in the nationalist movement, because they are of the opinion, what is their ideology and strategy? It is non-violence. So it was actually against it, because I've already told you INA was the fourth phase of militant nationalism when we discussed, right? So there is an element of non-violence involved here. And secondly, Gandhi and Congress is of the opinion that if the military is actually helping you to overthrow British, there may be a possibility of military dictatorship once the British are overthrown from here. So because of these two reasons, Congress was not in support of army members who are participating in the Indian freedom struggle. And their position was, Gandhi actually requested all the army members to go and join to their barracks. And Gandhi also clarified that if at all you need to join the freedom struggle, you have to resign from army and then join the Congress, or you can take part in the Indian freedom struggle. Being in army, you cannot do that. That is what the position of Gandhi. So I hope this is clear. RIN Mutiny, and it shook the basic foundation of British, and that is the reason why Cabinet Mission Plan came. So how Cabinet Mission Plan connected to RIN Mutiny and INA, I hope you understood it clearly. It is not because of the pressure from Congress. I won't accept that. If you want to, you can obviously write that Congress pressurized, Gandhi pressurized, Nehru pressurized, all these things you can write. But if you objectively see without any bias, this is a reason. Okay, so I hope this is clear. All this four we are going to discuss: August offer, Cripps mission, Wavell plan, Cabinet Mission Plan. Nothing was because of the pressure from Congress. British government actually know how to deal with Congress. Okay, so let me write down the important points related to RIN Mutiny, where a number of naval ratings, that is British Indian soldiers, British Indian naval soldiers, British Indian naval soldiers. See, what is the fundamental difference here? The other one was army, here it was navy. Okay, stationed at Bombay, stationed at Bombay port, revolted against the British. Okay, they unfurled the Indian flag on HMIS Talwar, okay, which is a ship. So they unfold the Indian flag on HMIS Talwar. These are the 2 points which you need to remember. Where? At the Bombay port, and Bombay port and HMIS Talwar and Navy. Okay, so these three have to be taken care. Then they quit India on the HMIS Talwar. The naval soldiers attacked their superiors stationed at Bombay port. Okay, so superiors stationed at Bombay port. Soon this naval strike spread across different ports, including Karachi, Visakhapatnam, etc. Okay, soon the naval strikes spread to other ports in Karachi, Visakhapatnam, etc. So now let's quickly look into the reasons for this. So what are the reasons? As I have already told you, the fundamental reason is actually the support that the INA trial victims got from Congress and from public. Second important reason is the nationalist consciousness, or the nationalist upsurge, or the nationalist course, and the sympathy towards Congress position. Thirdly, their own reason that the pay, promotion, salaries, discrimination, racial discrimination, humiliation, quality of food, all these common problems are also there. Okay, so reasons: widespread support amongst British Indian soldiers for the INA trial subjects. Okay. Second, the strong support for nationalist cause and sympathy for Congress position. Okay, Third one, the concerns related to racial discrimination within army, and pay, promotion, allowances, quality of food, all led to dissatisfaction and discontentment among the Navy members. Now what about the significance? That is also very important. So we have discussed about how it came and how it operated, how it went on, the reasons, significance, and what you need to do is you need to put it in a perspective. And the most important impact or the significance is cabinet mission plan. Okay, British understood that it shook the basic foundation of their setup here, and they lost the control over their army, and their days in India are limited. That they understood it clearly from INA and especially RIN Mutiny. Okay, so it shook the faith of the British in the armed forces stationed in India. Okay, the key instrument of British control, that is the army and navy, came under the nationalist upsurge or nationalist sentiment. Okay, now second impact, this threatened the very foundation of British rule in India, and thus the British understood that their days in India are limited. Okay, as a result, the British soon appointed the cabinet mission plan to speedily devolve the power to Indians at an early date. To speedily devolve power to Indians at an early date. So again, what I want to tell you here is the Congress position. I hope you understood that they are not in support of army members who are participating in the freedom struggle, being in army, because of two reasons: non-violence they are not supporting, or violence they are not supporting. They are the ardent followers of non-violence. And secondly, a possible military dictatorship is possible according to Gandhi. Okay, and Gandhi requested them, if you want to participate in freedom struggle, resign from army and join the Indian freedom struggle movement. Okay, so that's all about RIN Mutiny. I hope this is clear for all of you. If you have any doubt in any of the discussion, get in touch with me here. This is my Instagram ID. Please join the Telegram channel for all the videos. I have done around 55-56 videos on modern India. We have started from 1757 and now we are 1945. Okay, so cabinet mission plan is what we are going to discuss. 1946 election and partition, which was in 1947 Mountbatten plan. So these are three sessions that we are supposed to do. With that, we will be finishing our complete modern India from 1757 Battle of Plassey to partition. Okay, so 190 years we have almost covered in 56 to less than 60 sessions. So see you guys. Thank you.